Okay, we're rolling. Number 5. As to World Trade Center 7, it collapsed because the collapsing tower. It collapsed because the collapsing towers caused a huge hole in the building that extended 1/3 across the south facade and 1/4 into the interior, and in a building which was designed in such a way that each outer structural column was responsible for supporting 2,000 square feet or 186 square meters of floor space. This initial local failure combined with a raging inferno to initiate a vertical progression of the initial local failure occurring up to the east penthouse, and as the large floor bays became unable to redistribute the loads, it brought down the interior structure below the east penthouse, and then triggered by damage due to the vertical failure caused horizontal progression of the failure across the lower floors in the regions of floors 5 and 7 that were much thicker and more heavily reinforced than the rest of the floors, resulting in a disproportionate collapse. Okay, something I left out from the last video that I want to get into is that steel loses approximately 50% of its structural integrity at 650 degrees Fahrenheit, and there were reported temperatures of up to 1800 degrees Fahrenheit at the World Trade Centers, and steel can lose 90% of its structural integrity at 1800 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's from Skeptics magazine. If you want to go look into that, they have a lot of good things on the World Trade Center. Conspiracy, truth, or nutters. Okay, so number 6. As to your last point, regarding my point of it having to have taken 72 days with 12 people to set the charges. Once again, I will read you the quote from James Santoro of Controlled Demolition Incorporated, and I quote, "It took us 24 days with 12 people doing nothing but loading explosives." Did you hear that? Doing nothing but loading explosives. Nothing about wiring, nothing about wiring or anything like that. It took them 24 days with 12 people to just load the explosives themselves. So your point regarding the wireless charges is completely irrelevant. Now you can say that they used some hypothetical form of explosives that were lighter. So for the sake of argument, let's say that it would have taken half the time to load these magical explosives. That's still 36 days with 12 people doing nothing but loading explosives in 3 of the most secure buildings of the world, past bomb-sniffing dogs, past security cameras, past security personnel, past office workers, etc., etc. Now comparing that hypothetical to the difficulty of hijacking 4 planes and flying them into buildings is completely ridiculous. It's comparing apples and flying fucking squirrels. As we know for a fact that planes can be hijacked, but I've never heard of people loading explosives for 36 straight days into 3 of the most secure buildings of the world without going detected. While going undetected. So for you to assert that my scenario is just as implausible as yours is completely ridiculous. And frankly, your scenario is impossible. That's it. Thank you and good night.